Good evening everyone and welcome to Gundam News. Yesterday we went over all of the Gunpla news and today we'll be going over all of the rest of the news. Although the first thing that I want to go over is still Gunpla related. They announced that on March the 4th they'll have a big announcement for Gundam Ensemble. So more information on that on March the 4th. Moving on to the figure news then, where just as with the Gunpla, we got quite a bit of Circe related figures, of course to coincide with the release of the Circe movie. On the same day, pre-orders went live for the Gundam Girls' Generation Gigi Andalusia swimsuit version. She can be yours in late August for 22,000 yen, 140 US, and the figure is definitely a looker. Like the description says, it beautifully recreates Gigi's ability to captivate men and make women jealous. Also, she is a regular release, unlike our next three releases. The Robot Spirits KA Signature Penelope, Circe version Recoordinate version, releasing in June for 30,800 yen, 196 US. The Robot Spirits KA Signature Zai Gundam Circe version, releasing in August for 35,200 yen, 224 US. And the Robot Spirits KA Signature Zai Gundam and Penelope Funnel Mission Option Parts, also releasing in August for 3,850 yen, 25 US. And just in case you're getting a little bit of deja vu, you are correct. Both the Penelope and the Zai Gundam are re-releases of previous figures, although they do vary slightly, hence the Circe version in the name. And for the Penelope, it is the easiest. It just got a new paint job that puts more emphasis on the panel lines. So for the accessories, we're still getting things like a beam rifle, 2 composite weapon pods, 2 beam saber blade effect parts, an action base, and the ability to display the Odysseus separate from the fixed flight unit. The Zai Gundam then also got a new paint job, but it also got new parts to replicate its appearance from the second movie. It comes with the Gundam face, new hand options, an extra shield with battle damage, and E-cap holding parts for the beam rifle. Other accessories then are its normal shield, 2 beam sabers with various beam saber blade effect parts, and an action base. Completely new then, at least I think it's completely new, is the Funnel Missile Option Part Set, which comes with 12 funnel missiles, 12 launching effect parts for those funnel missiles, and parts to hook them up to either the Zai Gundam or the Penelope. Getting everything will no doubt be really expensive, but there's also no denying that it will look really impressive. So let's look at something a bit more goofy now. The Universal Century SAGA Ichiban Kuji. I don't think it needs much of an introduction at this point, but Ichiban Kuji is the Bandai lottery system where you always win something, and on the 3rd, they unveiled all of the prizes you can win with this one. So, the A prize was already announced, a new Gundam Busten figure, and so was the B prize, a Char Aznable Masterlice figure. The C prize then is one of 2 effect tones. It's a thing that you put on a drawer, a door, or something else that can open up, and when you then open it, it plays a sound. The Gundam version plays the sound from the eye catch, and the Char version plays Gallant Char. Now, I'm assuming that it's only going to play like a short segment and not the entire song. Also, it feels like something that's going to be fun like the first few times, but then gets really old really quick. But hey, it is still an interesting constellation prize. The D prize was already announced, so next up is the E prize, and I am absolutely loving these things. They're rubber magnets featuring important bases from throughout the Universal Century, and the art style is also really cool. Like, I would love one of these, or multiples, for my magnet board. And the F prize is also surprisingly cool, because remember, these are supposed to be the constellation prizes. It's either an acrylic stand recreating a famous scene from the anime, but super deformed, or an acrylic carabiner with an equally interesting design. But I am mainly digging those super deformed stands. That Jim Sniper is looking really good there. And finally, the G Prize is one of 13 clear posters featuring some cool artwork from the Universal Century. And then if you happen to get the last ticket, you'll get this Sazabi Bust-in figure. But this was already announced, so moving on to the newest lineup of Machibouke figures. They'll be hitting Japanese gachapon machines in May, and rather than being figures of mobile suits, they're now figures of the pilots. But just like their mobile suit counterparts, they are looking pretty depressed. For 300 yen a spin, 2 US, you can get Amuro after he stabbed Lala, Char after he just saw Amuro doing the stabbing, a generic Federation pilot who got assigned to a ball, and a generic Xeon pilot who was tasked with hunting down the white base. And then last but not least, pre-orders began for the Mika and Orga Lookup figures. And the deal here is the same as usual. They're adorable, sitting renditions of the characters with a ball-jointed head, so you can display them looking at whatever you want. You can get them as regular releases for 4,950 yen, 32 US, but you can also get them as a premium Bandai Limited combo set. At 10,010 yen, it is $1 more expensive than getting them separately, but that dollar will get you a special cushion for each of your figures to sit on. Back to Hathaway's Flash then, for the news that wasn't Gunpla or figure related. And first and foremost, the movie is doing really well. In its opening weekend, it grossed 840 million yen with over 510,000 visitors, which puts it only slightly behind Gundam Seed Freedom, which grossed around $1 billion, and well ahead of the first Hathaway's Flash movie, which only made around 500 million in its opening weekend, although it must be mentioned here that this movie was released at a very difficult time when we were still dealing with the effects of a certain virus. And in the first 5 days then, Circe's revenue went up to $1 billion with over 600,000 visitors. So again, it is definitely doing numbers. And people who add to those numbers in the second week will get a 16-page Pablo Uchida Design Works booklet. More surprising then was their choice for the ending song of the movie, Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses. It really caught me off guard, but at the same time, watching the promotional video featuring the song, definitely brought a smile to my face. And if you want to watch the full promotional video, I will have it linked down below. And fun fact, there's 2 reasons why the song was chosen to be the ending song by the director. 1, it's a song from the time when Hathaway's Flash was first written, and 2, in 2018, the director just happened across a cover of the song on YouTube, which first gave him the idea of somehow trying to get this song into Hathaway. He thought about using a cover version of the song, but in the end, they could straight up use the original version. Staying with the music, the cover image of Circe's LP has been unveiled, and they also revealed a lot of new merchandise that will go on sale on the 6th. And unsurprisingly, a lot is featuring the new mobile suits that were kept under wraps until the movie was actually released. And on the 4th, the Sapporo Snow Festival opened up, where a massive Zai Gundam snow sculpture is on display. It's already really impressive during the day, and it gets even better at night, because this is when the lights go on to give us an incredible show. And alongside it, they also released some Snow Festival memorabilia over at Movik. You can get a Hathaway, Gigi, or Kenneth acrylic stand for 1,650 yen, 11 US, an acrylic diorama for 3,850 yen, 25 US, or a clear file for 440 yen, 3 US. And in other anime-related news, we got some new artwork for Gundam Wing's 30th anniversary, which can be bought together with the Gundam Wing Endless Waltz Special Edition 4K Remaster box as an acrylic panel. And GQuuuuuX managed to win some prizes. At the 46th Japan Science Fiction Awards, it won the Special Prize, and over at the Tokyo Anime Award Festival 2026, it won Anime of the Year. meaning that the series definitely managed to generate a lot of buzz. Meanwhile, on the gaming front then, in Gundam Battle Operation 2 for the PlayStation, the V-Gundam Ahexa has joined the fray. Guys, I think there's a spelling mistake in your promotional image. Anyways, on Steam, the Vignagina 2 Jupiter Battle specification has become available. In the global version of UC Engage, the Moon Gundam The Unforgivable One story event went live, and we got a new event unit assembly for the UR Saphira Gardner and her UR Rigazid. Over at SD Gundam G Generation Eternal then, they were once again celebrating some stuff. They again reached number 1 in the sales charts, giving everyone 3,000 diamonds, and to celebrate the release of Circe, there's celebration panel missions for an SSR Elysius, as well as other rewards to power upset Elysius. Plus, for simply logging in, you'll also get an SSR Lane Aim and 300 diamonds. And that wasn't everything. New stages and event missions were added to the Eternal Road, a fierce enemy assault featuring the SSR-G Falcon Gundam X went live, and we got part 2 of the Gundam X main stages, which of course came bundled together with a bunch of new Gundam X units, like the UR-XX EX version and Garrett, the UR Versago Chestbreak EX version and Shagia, the SSR-G Falcon Airmaster and Wits, the SSR-G Falcon Leopard and Royby, and the UR Jamil Need and Freedom 2 Supporter. And finally for the gaming news, we're getting some new Gundam card game things, which will be sold over at the Bandai Card Game Fest in Tokyo, or through a lottery sale on Japanese Premium Bandai. So there's a Suleta and Mirine playmat and resource token set for 4,730 yen, 30 US, the first premium card collection for 1,650 yen, 11 US, Space Black or Haro card sleeves for 990 yen each, 6 US, or the first combat official good set, which comes with a playmat, a storage box, and 10 resource tokens featuring the emblems of Oz, Omni, Zaft, Orb, Astacasia, the Earth Federation, Xeon, Neo Xeon, Char, and the Vist Foundation. In other news then, the February and March dates for the Gundam Cafe truck at the Unicorn statue are available, Gundam Wing got a set of stamps for line, new designs revealed for the Gundam and D-Point collaboration, and the Gundam Base and Gundam Side F are having a collaboration with the Premium Bandai JCB credit card. People using their Premium Bandai credit card at these facilities between February the 2nd and March the 30th will be entered into a lottery to win 10,000 premium points. And the reason I'm bringing this up isn't because, they're having this collaboration, but because of the fact that we apparently have a Premium Bandai credit card. What the As for the things you could get this week then, we started with an extremely expensive day on the 31st, because on that day, we got the Perfect Rate Unleashed 1/60th scale new Gundam, and the accompanying LED unit. The new Gundam itself goes for 66,000 yen, 421 US, and the LED set goes for 15,400 yen, 98 US, making for a total of 81,400 yen, 519 US, although the price for outside of Japan will be closer to like 800 US, if not up to 1,000 if you want to go for the full package. And this full package does at least come with a lot. And it comes with so much, in fact, that the new Gundam can barely handle it. Shortly after its release, images began popping up of the new Gundam leaning over because of the fin funnels. Now, I'm also not really surprised by this because the fin funnels do have a lot of details and parts put into them, so they gotta be pretty damn heavy for what they are. And with all of them being on one side of the kit, you would need an extremely strong and also extremely stiff waist joint to keep them up without any extra support. And of course, they wanted that waist to be movable as well. But think of it this way, the fin funnels on the regular new Gundam were rushed. and they were basically MacGyvered onto the new Gundam. So them causing stress on the waist joint is kind of canonical. It's not a bug, it's a feature. Other features then are the new Hyper Bazooka with a new sub-arm on the backpack, a beam rifle that can be stored on the back skirt, 2 beam sabers with beam saber blade effect parts, a shield, and a lot of opening armor panels revealing that beautiful inner frame. And they even called it the ultimate unit system because building it mimics the construction of a real mobile suit. Also, the fin funnels are compatible with the separately sold weapon display base, so you might want to consider buying one of those to take some weight off of the new Gundam's shoulders, and also his waist joint. As for the LED set, that's literally just an overpriced set of LEDs for the head and the chest, with a control box that takes 4 AA batteries. Personally, I think a USB-C port would have been a much better choice. Nowadays, you can plug it in basically anywhere, even if it's just a power bank sitting to the side, and you then also wouldn't have to worry about replacing the batteries, or, having your batteries leak all over the place, which is something I'm particularly unlucky with for some reason. Moving on, for 990 yen a pop, 6 US, you could get a rubber keychain featuring Ale Strike-Pla-Kun, Build Strike-Pla-Kun, Zeo-Pla-Kun, or Dom-Pla-Kun. And for 3,080 yen, 20 US, there was the high-grade Legend Gundam, another machine with some impressive remote weaponry that can also use the separately sold weapon display base. So we're getting 8 small dragoons, 2 big dragoons, 2 effect parts for those big dragoons, 2 beam javelins that can be combined, 2 beam effect parts for those beam javelins, a beam shield, and a high energy beam rifle. And we're still not done for this day. There was also the latest Gundam card game booster pack called Steel Requiem. The poster boy is the Exia, and it also introduced Order Hunt and Gundam 0080 to the game. For something to snack on while playing the game then, on the 2nd, we got the Renewal version of Gundam Poteco. It's a box of black pepper flavored potato rings, and each box comes with a sticker featuring a mobile suit from the Universal Century. And because this is the Renewal version, the rare stickers have been made to be even fancier. There's 25 to collect, and if you get a winning sticker, you'll also get a binder that you can put those stickers into. And on the same day, you could also go for the re-release of Mobile Suit Ensemble 13. One spin will set you back 500 yen, 3 US, and the available sets are the S Gundam, boosters for the S Gundam, the Banshee in Unicorn mode, the GQuuuuuuX, and an option set with extra equipment for the GQuuuuuX. And finally on the 4th, Senarin's Lost and Found concept EP was released for 2,200 yen, 14 US, featuring various tracks from Circe, like Circe, Enroll, and Lost and Found. For this week's reading material then, there was the February issue of Screen Alpha, featuring Gigi and Quest on the cover, as well as interviews with the cast on the inside. We got a new edition of Beltorchica's Children, now available in B6 size, and also with, I'm pretty sure, some brand new artwork. Chapter 33 of the Battle Tales of Flanagan Boone was released for free online and is linked down below, and the same goes for Chapter 5-2 of Witch from Mercury, Frontiers in Glory Days. And talking about Witch from Mercury, the characters Mogumo Artworks art book also got released this week, with Mogumo of course being the character designer for Witch from Mercury. So included in the book, we've also got some Witch from Mercury art, as well as an interview with Hisadake, who was responsible for the scenario and also helped with the world building of Witch from Mercury. Next up then, they announced that on the 10th, a collector's edition will be released of Gundam Wing Blind Target and Gundam Wing Episode 0. Blind Target will go for 1,210 yen, 8 US, and Episode 0 will go for 1,430 yen, 9 US. But other than a different cover, they haven't given us any details yet on how these new collector's editions will differ from their old standard editions. And finally, on March 31st, we're getting Mobile Suit Gundam display design artworks Yoshinori Sayama. I think this is the first time that I've seen an art book that is all about like what's on display monitors. But I totally get it, because when you think about it, especially in a science fiction work, what is displayed on monitors can be a very important piece of the world building. And, oftentimes, tiny things hidden away on a random display can be really important for hardcore fans. And only a few weeks ago, I talked about what was on the Starjagen's display when talking about the difference between bits and funnels. And not only will this book have those artworks, it will also have like an explanation by Sayama himself about what went into designing these things. So again, extremely random, but extremely cool. For this week's apparel news then, Strict G kicked things off with a collaboration with the Gundam card game. For 5,500 yen, 35 US, you can get a t-shirt with the Aerial Permit Score 6 or the Unicorn Destroy mode. And these are exclusively available at the Bandai Namco Cross Store in Koshigaya Lake Town, Nagoya, and Hakata. And releasing on the 7th is their collaboration with Dickies. For 15,400 yen, 98 US, you can get a slashing RX-78-2 on a pair of black or khaki work pants. For 6,380 and 41 US, you can get the RX-78-2's head on a black t-shirt, or the RX-78-2 about to slash a Zakuto in half on a white t-shirt. And for 3,850 and 25 US, you can get a Black Federation or beige Zeon's GI belt. Bankore, meanwhile, was almost all about Hathaway's Flash. There's a black or clear acrylic stand with the logo of Circe for 1,650 yen, 11 US, a Mafty mug for 3,190 yen, 20 US, a Zai Gundam Penelope or Messer full panel t-shirt for 4,400 yen, 28 US, and a fancy Mafty watch for 24,200 yen, 154 US. And it also comes with a really cool Easter egg. The Mafty logo in the middle lights up in the dark, and so does the Roman 11, which is of course XI Zai Gundam. And then we've also got a bunch of acrylic stands, because of course Bankore is going to release a bunch of acrylic stands. You can get Hathaway, Gigi, Kenneth, and Lane as a big acrylic stand for 2,750 yen, 18 US, or as a standard acrylic stand for 1,320 yen, 8 US. And you can also get the cat in 4 different poses, also as a big or as a standard acrylic stand. But these only go for 1,100 yen, 70 US, and 660 yen, 4 US, respectively. And then on the 5th, they celebrated Lax's birthday with 2 new items releasing in April. For 3,850 and 25 US, there's a birthday holographic acrylic stand, and for 11,000 yen, 70 US, there's a Lacus Klein birthday ring, featuring her date of birth engraved on one side and the Proud Defender motif on the other side. And finally, we're getting some Cospa Gundam Wing t-shirts in early April. They all go for 3,300 yen, 21 US, and the available designs are Wing Zero White or Slate Gray, the Gundam they called Zero Navy, Epion Gray, or Wing Zero Endless Waltz version White or Navy. And if you happen to go to Wonder Festival on February the 8th, you can get them in pre-sale there. And that has been all for this week's Double Gundam News. As always, a big thank you to the Patreon supporters. I hope everyone watching has a great evening, and I'll see you all next week with another Double Gundam News.